All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to our continuing coverage from Super Bowl 60 Radio Row. Here's former first-round pick of the Chargers, three-time Pro Bowler Shawne Merriman. Nice to see you.
What's up, brother?
Lights out, baby, lights out.
Yeah.
So what's happening this week for you? What are you up to?
It's always a little bit crazy, but for me, I think getting here, seeing some of the guys that I played with and played against, we all meet up at one time during the year. But also, too, some of the younger guys who just got drafted who I didn't meet, and I'm watching all the time, so I get a chance to meet them. And then also being in the media space, man, like seeing how media's changed and how it's syndicated, how it's distributed. It's pretty fascinating just being here.
Your post-career, you've gotten into a lot of different things. You have a major fight platform, which we can talk about. You've been in the media yourself.
Yeah.
Like, how have you kind of managed your post-playing career?
You know, the first year or two is always tough for everybody, you know, and I went over to NFL Network, and it was, I started on a morning show that's now Good Morning Football, and, you know, I had my lights out clothes and Tilly's, and I was doing a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't the same. It just felt different because that regiment was gone, practice was gone, working out was gone, so it took me like a year to let the game go.
Yeah.
You know, and then after I did that, man, I started looking at the football again as a fan, not as competition. Because that part of you got to go, man, because you're sitting on the couch like, man, I can do that right now, right? But then you start finding the passion, that same passion that you had running out the stadium of 70,000 people. When you start finding that passion to wake you up in the morning so you have that feeling, you know you're doing what you love to do.
What was it? Like, what clicked for you? When did it take that turn?
Really, you know, initially, you know, I was selling lights out. We were in like Tilly's and DTLR. We were in about 190 doors in the country.
Yeah.
And so when things started to move fast, it was like, okay, I'm doing what I wanted to do. But also when I launched Lights Out Extreme Fighting, this was in 2019. This was really about 5.5 years after I retired. And
this is a mixed martial
arts. This is
MMA,
MMA, yeah. So we become one of the feeders to the UFC.
Yeah.
And, you know, we initially started out on Fox Sports West and Prime Tickets, which all these deals I negotiated. So I started getting into that side of it, where I was negotiating with, and I was on Fox Sports at the time, too. I was on Speak For Yourself, and I was working there, and I was on Colin Cowherd's show a couple days a week. So I understood being in front of the camera, but then I started to figure out what happens behind it.
Yeah.
So then I found myself kind of negotiating with Fox. We started Fox Regionals, Fox Sports West, Prime Ticket. We went to 6 other regions. And then we ended up at Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. We signed like a multi-year deal. So these are all the things that I was, I found myself in negotiations of people I was actually working with also. And now we just landed at ESPN Latin America. Now that the UFC left to Paramount, we've kind of started filling in some of these spaces at ESPN.
Yeah. Were you into fighting in UFC like before your playing career was over? Like when did that start?
So in 2000, between 2005 and 2006, that offseason, Jay Glazer over at Fox Sports had introduced me to Randy Couture. And, you know, he said, look, I think that MMA can help you out in football with your hands and learn how to be more active with your hands and opening your hips and endurance and stuff. And I said, look, if it'll help me in football, just tell me what I need to do.
Right.
He texted me an address, and I go to this gym in LA off of La Brea. I walk in the gym, and Jay Glazer is on my left, and Randy Couture is on my right. Now, mind you, Randy had just won the belt. He was one of the oldest champions ever to come back, I think, 41, 42 years old and become a champion. So I'm looking at Jay and said, listen, I'm not fighting Randy Couture today. I just want you to get that out the way right now. That's not happening. But what I found out was that the discipline of MMA, you know, grappling, pummeling. I started to pick up some jiu-jitsu. Then every offseason, I started training with Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, Tyron Woodley when he first came on. And so I found myself every offseason starting to get more into MMA.
Yeah. Did you want to compete?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually, I had almost fought in Bellator, which is, they were the number 2 technically behind your UFC for a long time. 2015 or 2016.
Yeah.
And the money wasn't right, or I would have been fighting for sure.
Yeah.
And I was
enough to your body.
Yeah, I did enough. And at the same time, I was also working with the WWE.
Yeah.
You know, I did some pay-per-views with them. You know, I also hosted on the WWE network when they first launched the network. And so this was all before I ended up launching my MMA promotion. So I understood the grind of launching your own network, launching your own company. And it was just time for me to do it.
Yep. So, the NFL alumni are going to watch this. Like, what do you say to them about reinvention, finding new passions, where your careers could take you? Because you've clearly gone in very different directions from off of your playing career.
Yeah, I think, believe it or not, it all ties into a way because I was fortunate to play in the NFL where I saw it done at a big scale. Sunday Night Football, you come out and there's cameras and there's lights and there's smoke. There's all these production and it's just so much to it. So you see things.
You were paying attention.
Oh yeah. I used to go and ask the camera operators and what certain cameras do. Just pregame. I do my jogs around the field and stretch, and every corner of the end zone, I'll go stop and I'll ask them. I say, what are you guys catching up here? And the production trucks outside. I was always curious about it, and so I kind of got my MBA in production and how to learn and live sports in general. Yeah.
All right, last thing. You still follow the sport?
Yeah.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl on Sunday?
Look, I've been called a Patriot hater all this week because I say 10 good things about the Patriots. I say one bad, and now I'm a Patriots hater.
Yeah.
So I guess I might have to end up being a Patriot hater because I think that Seattle's going to win. The way they're playing, their brand of football right now, not just on offense and defense, but people are not talking enough about their special teams.
Yeah.
And I played with some of the best special teams players, Kasim Osgood, Mike Cyphers, who was our punter, David Ben, who was a long snapper for 20 years. And so I understood how important special teams were because they were like a super weapon for us. Field advantage, block punts, a tip field goal, whatever it was always special teams that could decide a game. And so I think that I already thought that Seattle was going to win, regardless, but I think it's going to be a special teams player too that's really going to expand the gap.
Yeah, the Shaheed acquisition at the trade deadline has been massive.
Big
for
time.
them. Yeah. All right, Shawne, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Thank you.